A scale 500 model of an airline that once was the pride of a nation. Can the model live up to that? We will find out. And with that, welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 717-200 of Olympic. At the front of the box we have a very lovely image of the aircraft itself, and we have the Olympic branding. Then on the back side of the box we have the same image once more. We also have the original dimensions and some additional information. So that's it for the box. So let's take a closer look at the model itself. And here she is, the Boeing 717-200 of Olympic. Now, the airline has resided under multiple names over the years. As you can see here, the aircraft brands itself as Olympic Aviation. For simplicity, I will simply just refer to the airline during this video as Olympic. Now, technically, the airline doesn't really exist anymore. The last version of the airline was finally bought by Aegean, the new national carrier of Greece, and it still operates the brand on regional routes within Greece. On the vertical stabilizer, we find the very iconic Olympic branding. On the fuselage, we then have the full registration code of the aircraft. At the front of the aircraft, across the fuselage, you have the writing of Olympic Aviation, and we also find an iteration of the Greek flag. Underneath the cockpit windows, we then have the name of the aircraft. We also have some nice markings around the cockpit windows, but that's about it for detailing at the cockpit section. The engine nacelles have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but they do carry the aircraft type specification. If you look at them from the backside, obviously that could look much nicer, but it's also not a current release, so I think we can forgive Herpa here. If we look into the front of the engines, we can see the engine fan blades very nicely, however. Just above the wings, we then have the emergency exits printed on, and that leads us to the wings themselves. Here we can see the different flap slats and spoilers carved out. Again, this could maybe be a little bit better, but also it is, as I say, not a current release from Herpa. The underside of the wings, that looks pretty decent if you ask me. The landing gear doesn't do anything spectacular, but it does the job, I think. Again, it is a quite small aircraft model, and for that I think Herpa has done a pretty decent job. Just underneath the engine, we then have here a door to the cargo compartments, which we also find here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 717-200 of Olympic. Or should we say MD-95? I mean, technically it was the last McDonnell Douglas aircraft type that was developed, although I don't think it was actually ever sold as that. But anyway, what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, I think it is actually pretty nice. Obviously, there are a few details that are not as good or as detailed as we could expect them from Herpa if this was a current release, but as I mentioned many times, it is not. And for that, I think Herpa has actually done a pretty decent job. And of course, it is a 717, which is also in real life a very rare aircraft type. And it is of a really iconic airline. So for that alone, I would say yes, it is definitely an aircraft worth having in one's collection. But would I mind Herpa doing a new Olympic model? Absolutely not. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. If you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. And with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.